Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chris with Digital Realm. Good morning. Good morning. Hope y'all having a blessed day. This video is a little different than the videos I usually do. This is what I call Free Game Fridays, where I kind of give you game on different industries or different things, different perspectives on different things that I know about. It might not fall in line with what I usually put out or what this page is usually about, but it does tie in. So this page, usually I share either graphics information about how to create, generate computer graphics, or I share information about how to get your credit right or how to set yourself up financially to be in a better position. This ties into more of the setting yourself up to be in a better financial position through Digital Realm Consulting. So before we start, if your credit isn't right, if your foundation isn't right yet, reach out to digitalrealmconsulting.com. Get started right away. See what we can offer you. I'm sure we can get everything, get your credit managed and get you right to go and in a position to take advantage of some of these things I'm about to show you right now. So we're gonna hop into the stock world today. Disclaimer: I'm not a licensed broker. I'm not a professional in any type of way. I'm just giving my personal perspective on what I see in the market in relation to the industry that I am familiar with. So the industry I am familiar with being computers and technology. So we're just going to hop right into it. Boom. All right, we in here. So we're going to cover the three main players that I've been paying attention to since 2018 when they had to drop in October. That's when I first started paying attention to the market at all. And I was trying to figure out, okay, is this regular, this drop regular? But I don't want to go too far into the backstory. I want to go into the story, or the front story, if that's even a thing. I don't even think front story is a thing. But let's get to it. So AMD, if you never heard of them, they're called Advanced Micro Devices. What does AMD offer? AMD offers the processing chip for laptops, for your phone, for game consoles, for all of pretty much their name kind of says it all, like most micro devices, most mobile devices, things like that. So with that being said, if they offer processing chips for most devices, they have a competitor. It's a very small market. Their main competitor being Intel. I'm going to share the relationship between all of these in a second. So you have Intel, you have Nvidia, you have Sony. How do all of these work together? First of all, the story is, again, when you're investing, understand the backstory and why you're investing. Don't just invest because of the numbers, but understand the whole full picture, the full scope of the story. It's free game. So the story is, back last year, they announced the PlayStation 5, which now everybody's, kind of riding the wave of, oh, I'm getting a PlayStation, which we knew was going to happen. Boom. All the kids want the PlayStation. Everybody wants a PlayStation. And again, they also announced the Xbox is dropping. Boom. Okay. Who do you think creates the processing chips in these machines? AMD. They create the processing chips for these machines. Even the little Nintendos and all the little gaming consoles, AMD creates the processing chips for most of them. I don't want to say all of them because I might be wrong, but most of them. So at the time of the announcement with Sony, it was at $60 or so. Now think about this, because this tells you how powerful you are as a consumer by even knowing this. PlayStation's going to drop they announced PlayStation 5 is dropping when it was at $60. As an investor, you're like, okay, I know all of my friends are going to want this. I know all the kids are going to want this because we drive the market. You have the power. Let me invest here at $60. Let's just say you did 100 shares, so $6,000. You put up $6,000. Boom, dropped it in AMD or into Sony at the time. Now that the PlayStation has dropped, it's at $94. $94.82 to be exact. or that's the high. What is it at right now? $93.93. So your 100 shares or $6,000 investment now is at $9,392.50 worth of in value. You pay for your PlayStation. That's the simplified way to understand how this stock game works, and understand how you as the consumer have the power. The beautiful thing about this is, because you, as a free game right here, pay attention. The beautiful thing about this is the fact that you're able to get in before all of these old number crunchers, if you want to call them that, but these old bankers, these old number crunchers who are out of tune with the culture. They're out of tune with the culture. They're just trying to make money on the when they see the charts are right. The charts are going to be right as soon as they announce it. So you have the ability to hop in at the ground level because you already know it's going to pop off. So, and again, you get when you buy it at 60, and then the big investors come in after the sales are already done, and they're like, oh, we want to put money into it because they're making money. They're looking at the numbers. They're not on the streets knowing what's going to be popping. If that makes sense. Let's get back to the story. Why these all work together. That was a little tip for you as an investor. Like, if you're just thinking about stocks or something like that, how you have the power as an investor, like, to pick what's gonna pop. So AMD, Intel, and Sony. AMD and Intel, big competitors against each other. They both create processing chips. The two main companies that provide processing chips for your computers. So AMD, how this backstory works, AMD was at around 20 something for the longest. When I told my wife about it the first time, it was at around 20 something. And they just changed their new seat to a new CEO. So they're supposed to turn things around. So I'm like, you should get into AMD because they provide the processing chips for all the devices, and we're not going to go away from mobile devices. So let's just go ahead and invest now. Okay. We ride that in hopes that it might go up, right? Intel is already at 60, and mind you, Intel's already at 60. It's like trading around $60 in the $50 range. It already has relationships with Dell and all of these companies already. All right, AMD drops a new processing chips that just like surpasses Intel by a large margin, like ridiculous margin. Like, this processing chip is like next level. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna start to invest in that because they're dropping new technology. Like, they're doing something new. They're not giving us the same old runaround. So by just same old runaround by just increasing the processing or making it instead of a quad core, making it you know how they do. But they're actually making it anyway. I don't want to go into that. Do your homework if you don't know about processing chips. Anyway, so they dropped this new process chip that was just amazing. Like, wow, this is going to change the game as far as servers. Like, so Intel announced, oh, we're going to drop our processing chip to compete with this processing chip. So everybody's in hopes. It's still hanging around $60. Everybody's in hopes, but AMD is growing. It's in the 30s now, going into the 40s. It's growing. Because people are getting interested in this processing chip. Intel announced we're going to drop this process chip at a certain time. Boom, they dropped the ball. Oh, we have to push it back. That loses the interest of the investors. So the investors start to jump ship. And I might be pointing at the wrong part of the chart, but AMD people start to invest in AMD now because, like, well, they have proof in the pudding. They already put theirs out. Intel, you're trying to figure it out. So we're jumping ship, right? Mind you, these are two competitors. Why am I even bringing this up right now? Because it's very important to pay attention to how the relationship between these two. So it's like a yin and a yang, if you get it. So right now, let's get to the current situation. Right now, AMD jumped this big jump right here. If you notice, it did this big jump. I'm trying to keep the chart where you can see the whole chart. I can zoom in, but I'm not. It did this big jump right here from from 86 all the way up to like 90 something. That's a big jump in the market, especially if you have like hundreds of shares. That's a huge jump. It's been bigger, but it's a good jump. And usually following these jumps, if you notice, after a jump, it'll decline and level out. After a jump right here, it'll decline, level out. But it'll go back up eventually. It just did this big jump. It more than likely is going to decline and level out. This big jump, it is a huge investor came in here, bought up a lot of shares, and now people are going to take their money out and reinvest it in something else because they're going to take profits. Right now, Intel is low and on a rise. So more than likely, people who are familiar with this area or this industry are going to take their money from here and put it in here. This is going to rise. It's more than likely going to rise back up to its high. But it's going to rise while this one is going to level out. I don't know what's going to level out to, but it's going to level out. So this is a play right now. You can get in and I might be a day late, or it might even keep rising, but you can get in right now here and at least get let's say $1 rise. So if you invest, I don't know. Invest what you can. But again, you could get $1 rise. More than likely, it'll go back up to like around 55 or so, at least to this to the ceiling right here. I'm assuming. But that being said, this is more than likely going to level out. Now, with that being said, there's no surety in the market. I could be completely wrong, but all I'm doing is making an educated guess on what possibly could happen, knowing the relationship between these two companies. Now, with that being said, AMD is the long-term, what I consider the long-term play. Why do I say that? Because AMD, you get a double dose. And a double dose being they provide processing chips, but they also provide graphics processing chips. Graphics processing chips are the same things that help, again, with graphics processing. So when you're playing a video game or you're streaming Netflix, or you're doing a live Zoom call, that's the graphics processing chip working in the foreground, so it doesn't take up your CPU processing, so you can do tasks, so you can watch a movie and do a Word document at the same time, or you can watch a movie and browse the internet, or whatever the case. But you can do them both at the same time, because one is running off the graphics processor, one is running off the CPU processor. AMD provides both, so you get the best of both worlds. Why do I bring that up? Well, you probably won't even know the answer, but you probably do know the answer. Who is the main competitor as far as graphics processor, which is definitely doing an amazing job? I would never down talk this company. NVIDIA. NVIDIA is the cream of the crop as far as graphics processors. Where's NVIDIA right now? They're at $540. AMD's only at $92.30. It was competing as far as on the CPU processing with Intel. It seemed like it surpassed them, and it's continuously climbing. Now, it's more than likely going to come after NVIDIA as the competitor. So this is an ideal company to watch for, because now they're trying to get market share from NVIDIA, which NVIDIA is up here. So in a nutshell, that means they're going to go past 92 in the hundreds, in the 200s, in the 300s, trying to catch up with them. I'm going to just leave that there. If you can't catch that, you won't catch it at all. So I'm saying all that to say, this is a prime time to get into NVIDIA. And you can actually just wait. You can wait to see how far this is going to drop down and get in, because it's going to do another pop back up. It's eventually just like here. It went up, boom, came down, did this little straggle, went back up, came back down. So This is a long-term play. This is not overnight. Like, oh, I drop a bag here and I hope it's going to jump overnight. No, this is a long-term play. Why this is a long-term play? Let's look at the bigger picture now, because we're looking at just a small scale. The bigger picture now. Why it's the long-term play for any of these companies? Computers aren't going to go away. Technology isn't going to go away. Internet of Things is not going to go away. Video game, the hard consoles might go away. They might just move straight to laptops and actual machines. But with that being said, before we even get to the next thing, AMD, as far as why it's competitive with NVIDIA and why it can gain market share from NVIDIA, even though it's an amazing company, relies on high-end hardware to run its graphics processors. So it relies on special 4K monitors. It relies on you having a beefy if you want to say gaming PC. You know, it relies on you to have to put upfront, the consumer to have to put some upfront costs to get the true performance that it provides. So it's really ideal for studios and things like that. It's not, I'm not going to say it's not ideal, but it's not as cost effective for the daily consumer. NVIDIA, on the other hand, they're already working with the mobile devices. They're already working with the smaller devices that you're able to walk around with, that people are interacting with. So naturally, you would think their research and development department is trying to figure out ways to make their graphics as strong as NVIDIA's, but within these smaller devices. Instead of relying on the larger devices, they're doing it from the smaller devices and moving forward with the smaller devices, which makes more sense, because I don't know about you, but me, I'd rather a super beefy laptop that I could take anywhere in the world and travel with and hop on and do graphics with at any time than to have to always be in my office to work on my special PC with my special monitor to get the graphics I need. So AMD is very competitive. Okay, now bigger picture again. Why is this important? Again, none of this is going away, but you also have to think of the market altogether. How is, I'm gonna bring up two different examples, then we can probably hop out of this, and I'll bring up these two examples actually in full screen, right? So let's get real intimate right now. So the two examples. One, people know about Tesla. Tesla's a great company. They're making some amazing vehicles, and people really just think of the battery. Like, as far as Tesla goes, like, oh, they have great battery life. They think about the battery. Overlooking, it takes processing power to run these cars. It takes a processor, some type of CPU processing to run these cars. Not only that, when you're driving your autonomous vehicle, if that's what it's called, but when you're making it self-drive, your car has cameras on your car that's scanning the road, that's using graphics or taking scans of the road every millisecond to make sure you're safe and that you can drive this car. Those processors either rely on CPUs or GPU processing. So these same processors are in the vehicles that are driving your cars, that people are buying, and they're investing in Tesla because they only understand the car side, but under the hood in the technology sits AMD or NVIDIA or a proprietary type of chip that they offer, but the same technology. I'm saying that to say the industry as a whole is moving forward with these chips. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Okay, let's go to the next thing, because I'm really showing you how the whale is moving, and people are investing in the whale, and there's small fish that are swimming next to the whale that you can invest in and make just as much. Another example. I have a classmate who invest in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. I'm just saying not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency. And it's a flashy thing to invest in. I don't know much about cryptocurrency. I'm not going to give my opinion on this platform about cryptocurrency, but it's something people are investing in. They feel like this is something they can make a lot of quick money with. That's beautiful. As long as you're investing in cryptocurrency, I'm going to make money. And how I'm going to make money? Because cryptocurrency relies on servers. Servers being able to process all of these payments when these interactions between cryptocurrency are being made. So there are going to be server farms and servers that need to keep up, that rely on graphics processors and CPU processing. The more people use this, the more servers are going to be needed to make sure this data can flow as efficiently as possible. That's where the chips come into play. That's why the semiconductor chips, the CPU processing chips, the graphics processing chips are very valuable in this economy, in this world, honestly, in the trajectory we're going. So I just want to leave that there. Those are two different examples. Like, everybody talk about, cryptocurrency is booming right now. And there's people like that are familiar with technology, like, well, okay, cool. Cryptocurrency is booming. That means that they're going to need CPU processing or servers to keep up with all of these transactions. Think if billions of people start to use cryptocurrency, what kind of processing chip that would take, and who is the company that's going to provide that? Boom, you have the small fish swimming right next to the big whale. If you get in now, it depends. It's just finding out which one's going to be the main one. And I'm gonna just leave that there. Nvidia's already in position to be the main one because, again, servers are big machines. People provide servers as a company, as a business model. So, but I don't want to get too far into that. I just want to stay on topic with how my perspective of what a potential play you could be running right now to set yourself up for a good position in the future. But again, I'm gonna leave that here as far as stocks go. But if your credit isn't right, if you aren't able to access capital, access even $100,000 at one time, where when you see opportunities like this, you can pretty much jump on it and make a quick bag or whatever. Get your credit right. Get in the game. That's at the end of the day. Just get in the game. I don't want to go on a soapbox, but I want to make this quick point. There are people who are getting on the TV. I'm not going to say who they are. But there are people who are getting on the television and down talking people who are starting businesses, starting corporations, making money from the stock market, and treating people or talking as if people who aren't everyday people like you and I can't do the same exact thing that the big corporations and other people are doing, and using that as a tool for fear. Get away from them. At the end of the day, get away from that mentality. You can do it yourself. Get your credit right. That's the first step to doing it. And if you don't have your credit right, reach out to digitalrimconsulting.com. Or if you're just familiar with more information that I'm dropping and giving value on, follow us on Instagram at Digital Rim Consulting, not the Digital Rim, but Digital Rim Consulting. And we're going to continue to share information like this. I might make this a trend, not trend like viral, but a trend as far as my channel, as far as Free Game Friday. So this is free game in the stock market. Even though we provide credit management, but this is free game in the stock market, because when you get your credit right, then knowing possible plays you can be doing to make more money is the next step. And this is just to give you a highlight into that next step when you get your credit right. So jump on it, get it going, stay blessed. And if you today, make sure you do something to get you closer to your goals. And that's all I really got to say about that. Do one thing that get you closer to your goals. That thing that you've been putting off for so long, do that. Get you closer to your goals. Have a blessed day. Happy Friday. Peace, y'all. Later.